Good afternoon, class. Well, today we have 100 gazillion S. Alright? Other from 100 gazillion S, we have S. Alright? Yeah. So we have 60 trillion S as well. Alright? So other from 60 trillion S, we have 20 million S. Alright? And other from 20 million S, we have 40,000 S. Alright? And other from 40,000 S, we have, alright, 5. You get me? So we have an equal sign of 100 gazillion and 60 trillion with 20 million and 60,005 dollars. Alright, so we are going to see how much time 5 can go in 100 gazillion. Well, 5 into 100 gazillion. Well, 5 into 100 gazillion. 5 can divide it into 100 gazillion. Remember, a gazillion, people, remember a gazillion is 15 zeros, and you put 100 first, then 15 zeros. That's 100 gazillion. You get me? So let's see now. 5 into 100 gazillion. Well, 5 can go into 100 gazillion 20 trillion time. You get me? 5 goes into 100 gazillion 20 trillion time. Other from that, 5 into 60 trillion dollars. Much time 5 can go into 60 trillion dollars? Well, 5 goes into 60 trillion dollar. How many times? 5 goes into 60 trillion. Remember, trillion is 12 zeros and 1 digit, so put 60 and 12 zeros. Alright, and you get 60 trillion. Alright, class, 5 into 60 trillion. 5 goes into 60 trillion. 60 trillion. 5 goes into 60 trillion. Level trillion time. 5 goes into 60 trillion. Level 5 goes into 60 trillion. Level 100 billion time. 5 goes into 60 trillion. 5 goes into 60 trillion. 1 trillion 100 billion time. Okay? Alright. 5 goes into 60 trillion. 1 trillion. Let me check. Let me see 5 into 60 trillion. 5 in 60 trillion. 5 in 60 trillion. Oh. Yeah. 5 in 60 trillion. That's 5 in 60 trillion. 5 goes in 60 trillion. 6 trillion time. 5 goes into 60 trillion time. 5 can divide into 60 trillion. 5 divided in 60 trillion, 6 trillion times. Whoa, I finally found that. Now, how many times 5 can divide it into a million? Well, 5 divided into a million, 5 divided into 20 million. How many times 5 could divide it in 20 million? Well, 5 goes into 20 million. 5 goes into 20 million 2 million times. 5 divided into 20 million 2 million times. 5 can go into 20 million without leaving a remainder. Alright, so how many times 5 could go into 40,000 S. Well, 5 goes into 40,000. How many times? 5 goes into 40,000. 4,000 times. 5 goes into 40,000, and 5 goes into pi 2,000 times, because pi is 20,000. If we have an equal sign of 100 gazillion and 60 trillion and 20 million and 60,000 and $5, that means that pi would eventually be 20,000. By the time we use the 40,000, we must see that pi is 20,000. Okay. Now, lesson H. We already teach lesson S. That was lesson S. Now lesson H. Alright. So we have 80 gazillion dollars, 80 gazillion H. Either from 80 gazillion H, we have 10H. You get me? Yeah, we have 10H. So either from 10H, we have 40 trillion H. Either from 40 trillion H, we have 30 million H. Either from 30 million H, we have 50,000 H. Either from 50,000 H, we have pi H. Alright? Yeah. So let's go to work. We have an equal sign of 60 gazillion. No, we have an equal sign of 80 gazillion and 80 gazillion and 40 trillion and how many million? Well, let's put it at 60 million. Okay. And we have 50,000. Okay. Other from 50,000, we have pi H. Alright. Now, and we have 10H. So let's see. We have an equal sign of 80 gazillion, 40 trillion and 60 million and 100,000 and $10. Alright, so how many times 10H could go into 80 gazillion H? Well, 10H goes into 80 gazillion H 8 gazillion times. No, 10H goes into 80 gazillion H 4 gazillion times. Okay? A gazillion is 15 zeros and 1 digit. Okay? So put 4. Okay, you know, it's 4 and 15 zeros. You get me? So that's the answer I get for 10 going divided into 80 gazillion. Alright? That's how many times 10 could divide it into 80 gazillion dollars. Okay? Now, other from that, how many times 10 could divide it in 40 trillion dollars? Well, 10 goes into 40 trillion dollars 2 trillion time. You get me? 10 divided into 40 trillion dollars, 2 trillion. So 80 gazillion is 4 gazillion time 10 could divide it into 80 gazillion. Remember, a gazillion is 15 zeros and the digit of the number. You get me? Okay, so other from that, how many times 10 could divide it in 20 mil? Well, 10 goes into 20 million H. 10H goes into 20 million H. How many times 10 goes into 20 mil? Well, 10 goes into 20 mil 1 million time. 1 million time 10 goes into 20 mil. 10 could divide it into $20 million. You get me? And how many time 10H could divide it in 50,000 H? Well, 10H goes into 50,000 H. 2,500 times 10 could divide it in 50,000, and 10 goes into pi 2,500 times, because pi is $50,000. If we use 50H and we are going to left back with $50, that $50,000, that means that the $50,000 that we left over back with got to be pi. Alright, now lesson F. We have lesson F. We have four let's see now. We have $400 gazillion dollars. Alright? And other from 400 gazillion, we have 20H. We have 400 gazillion F, and we have 20F. Alright? So, other from that, we have 80 trillion. We have 80 trillion. You get me? F. Alright? Other from 80 trillion F, we have 20 billion F. You get me? Another from 20 billion F, we also have 40 million F. You get me? Now let's get to work. There's no pi in this one. Okay? Alright. How many time does 20 can go into 400 gazillion? Well, 20 goes into 400 10 gazillion times. You get me? That's how many times 20 could divide it in 400 gazillion. 20 divided in 400 gazillion, 10 gazillion times. Okay? Alright. So, my brain moves like a superhighway, so you should know. Anyways, how many times 20 could divide it in 80 trillion? Well, 20 goes into 80 trillion. 20 divided in 80 trillion. 20 20 goes into 80 trillion 1 trillion time. 20 could goes into 80 trillion without leaving a remainder. That's how many times 20F goes into 80 trillion F. Okay? Alright. How many times 20F could goes into 20 billion F? Well, 20F 20F goes into 20 billion F. 20F goes into 20 billion F 5,500,000,000 times. 20F could goes into 20F goes into 20F goes into 20 billion 500,000,000 times. Okay? 500 million times. Okay, so how many times 20 goes? How many times 20 goes into 40 million? Well, 20 goes into 40 million 1 million times. Okay, that's how many times 20F goes into 40 million F. Alright, class dismissed. Take care, class. Vindo, Vandu, Shkave, Sivundia, Vindu, Kavundi, Miss Europe 2020, Vindu, Savundi, Lavu, Lavunda, Sivo, Miss Europe 2019, Avu, Vindu, Sindu, Avunda, Vindu, yeah. Kylie Jenner, Avundi, Vandu, Lavu, Avunda, Sivunda. Nicki Minaj, Simbundi, Avandu, Avundi, Stavando. Selena Gomez, Sindu, Findu, Avundo, Lavu, Avundi, Avundu. Cardi B, Avundu, Stavandu, Lavundu, Avintu, Fintu, Vandu, Findu. Miss Europe 2020, Wambu, Finta. Vinde, Avunda Vinda Miss Europe 2019, Avunde Vundo French Wa Vinto Francis Sonto Vendove Avu Kim Kardashian Avunde Avundo. Now, my ladies, let us glance up in the midnight and look at the stars. And after we look at the stars, we could look at the moon, while the moon and the stars shine down their light upon us, while we make a romantic night, a midnight picnic. We should come out with a lot of food and have a little midnight feast, and let's sit and talk romantical together at each other and see how it will work. Even the moon would have jealous of our love. Even the stars would have jealous of our romantical night. Ladies, I knew it will be such a romantical night. The moon shine brightly down on us as we make out one of the most French kisses could ever be. Little French kiss, Bandu, Vindu, Bandu, Shikave, Avu. And then we take our time and take off our clothes. And then you close your eyes as we kiss and make out and open your eyes again. And then the stars will shine even brighter upon us, and even the moon, because they're gazing upon our relationship and a romantical night. Oh my God, it's such a very interesting night. Oh, I bet your orgasm will be in such a rapid flight. The weed. Oh my god. Mhm. Kendall Jenner. Abunde, abunda, bindu. Kylie Jenner, bindu, sabunde, abundu, ibunde, labu, labu. Miss Europe 2020, abundu, sinda, bundi, bundi, abun, inda, bundi, abun. Love you, antu, abundu, abindu, bindu, labundu. Abu. Vindu, vinta, vindu, vindu, vanduski, vea.